And it's worth remembering that just a couple of weeks ago, in that interview that Prince William did with Eugene Levy, he said, our kids don't have phones either, and we're very strict on that. And particularly dinner time is a time for chatting, but no phones at all in the Wales household.
And neither in the Sussexes household. And so it feels a little bit like you're both saying the same thing. Wouldn't it be great if you joined forces?
Yeah, it's sort of quite aligned, doesn't it? I was thinking about that essay that the Princess of Wales co-authored, where she was talking about the epidemic of disconnection and how we're all, on our phones and tablets and apps all the time. And I was thinking...
That was the week you caught me looking at my phone.
It was.
As you are now.
And you're right to say that they are sort of talking about similar issues, similar themes, but talking about them very, very separately still.
Yeah, I mean, I guess both their kids, their worlds are slightly different.
Yes.
Whereas Kate and William, they have to show pictures of their children because he is heir to the throne. Whereas Meghan and Harry have a choice where that's concerned. And that's something Harry has brought this up in this podcast, where he talks about the fact that it's a choice for them not to show their kids on social media.
It's not the blanket ban for Harry and Meghan for having their kids online, because you do see parts of their heads and long shots of them. They are still used.
No, but it's different. So I don't post up full frontal pictures of my kids either. I mean, you can see them, that's their kids there at the pumpkin patch. You can see them from a long lens, side of their heads, back of their heads.
Yeah. I would argue that's still them being used on Meghan's social media.
No, but I think it's not about the kids being used. I would argue it's about their kids' faces not being used in AI and all of that sort of thing. Exactly. You could still walk down the road and walk past them and you wouldn't know who they are. And that's...
To be cautious, I just think they are still, in a way, using their kids. Okay, they're not showing their faces, but they know that there's a huge interest in their children. And that video on Instagram wouldn't have got as much attention had the backs of the heads not been in it.
Two different things. Sort of letting people glimpse their lives as parents and putting their kids' faces online. That's two completely different things. I would argue, and I think there is a space online on Instagram, on TikTok or what have you, where parents talk about their lives as parents without showing their kids' faces.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for them, that's security reasons. But for a lot of parents, it's simply, I just want to keep my children safe.
Of course, and I completely agree with that. But I'd say when they went to Disneyland recently, remember that their kids were quite prominent, even though some of their faces were deliberately blurred.
Yeah.
Talking royals, or as I like to call it, talking Sussexes again. Because no matter what ITV pretends their topic is, somehow, someway, they always find a route that leads straight to Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry. You could hand these people a map to the moon, and they'd still find a way to turn it into a discussion about Archie's bedtime routine. So in this latest episode, we have Chris Shipp, Charlene White, and Lizzie Robinson doing what they do best, tiptoeing around the Waleses and side-eyeing the Sussexes with their trademark just-asking-questions tone. Now, Chris Shipp kicks things off with this little nugget. William's interview with Eugene Levy, where he proudly announced that the Wales kids don't have phones and dinner time is all about conversation. Bravo. The man discovered parenting boundaries in 2025. Call the Nobel Committee. But then Charlene White, who I must say tries to bring some balance, jumps in and says, well, neither do the Sussex kids. Thank you, Charlene, thank you. Someone in that studio actually remembers that Meghan and Harry also exist in the realm of responsible parenting. And then she drops the mic with, wouldn't it be great if they joined forces? Now that right there was the moment, because you can see Chris Shipp's royal brain cells glitching in real time. Joined forces... between the Waleses and the Sussexes. Oh no, that would destroy their entire narrative. The British media need those two couples to be pitted against each other forever. It's the only storyline they've got left. Lizzie Robinson then slides in, nodding along, talking about how it's quite aligned. Oh really, Lizzie? You mean to tell me Meghan and Harry have been saying the same exact things about digital awareness, mindfulness, and protecting children for years? But only now, when Kate scribbles a few sentences in an essay about disconnection, suddenly it's groundbreaking, revolutionary, the Duchess of Digital Detox. Please. Meghan Sussex was talking about this when Archie was still in diapers. Remember her discussion with Gloria Steinem. Remember her interviews about protecting children from online toxicity. But the UK media mocked her for it, called her self-absorbed and preachy. And now William says, no phones at dinner. And they act like he's just invented the concept of family time. It's the same pattern every single time. When Meghan does it, it's a Hollywood sermon. When Kate does it, it's compassionate modern motherhood. Then, of course, Chris Ship has to add his usual snark. He starts talking about Meghan and Harry still using their kids, even though they don't show their faces. Excuse me, Chris. Showing the back of your child's head is now using them. Make it make sense. By that logic, every parent who's ever posted a family pumpkin patch photo is a media manipulator. What do they want Meghan and Harry to do? Post a photo of a shadow and say, this might be Archie, or it might be a tree. Charlene, bless her, actually tries to inject some common sense. She says, that's not about using kids. It's about protecting them from being used by AI, by tabloids, by people who think they have a right to their faces. Exactly. Meghan and Prince Harry have been crystal clear about this. Their children didn't choose fame, and their job as parents is to give them as normal a childhood as possible, something the royal institution never gave them. Let's remember, Prince Harry grew up with cameras flashing in his face every time he blinked. He literally watched paparazzi chase his mother to her death. So if he doesn't want his children's faces plastered across the internet, that's not controlling. That's called healing the generational trauma. But no, Chris Ship can't help himself. He doubles down and says, they're still, in a way, using their kids. They know there's huge interest. You mean, there's huge media interest, Chris. The same media you're part of. The same one that created this obsession and now pretends to be morally outraged about it. It's almost comical. The tabloids scream, why won't Meghan show us her children? And then in the next breath, why does Meghan post about her children? It's the royal version of heads we win, tails you lose. Then Charlene points out the key difference. Meghan, Sussex and Prince Harry have a choice. Kate and William, as future monarchs, have to parade their children for the cameras, the balcony photos, the birthday portraits, the staged school drop-offs. That's their royal brand. But the Sussexes made a conscious decision to step away from that circus. And what do they get in return? Judgment, criticism, the same tired narrative that they want privacy but post online. As if privacy means living in a cave with no Wi-Fi and sending messages by carrier pigeon. No, privacy means control, choosing when, where and how to share, on their terms, not the palaces, not the tabloids, and definitely not Chris Ship's. Now let's be real, ITV and their royal reporters know exactly what they're doing. Every time they mention Meghan's name, engagement spikes. They get clicks, they get views, they get headlines. Talking royals without Meghan Sussex is like tea without scandal, just sad and flavourless. So they sprinkle her into every topic, even parenting. They can't help themselves. It's almost a reflex at this point. But let's give credit where it's due. The contrast between the couples is fascinating, not because one is right and the other wrong, but because Meghan and Harry actually have the freedom to live what they preach. They don't have to sell their children's privacy for PR. They don't have to fake relatability while living in a palace with 50 staffers and 3 chefs. When Meghan Sussex shares a glimpse of Lily picking flowers or Archie running through the garden, it's not about brand building. It's about authenticity. You can feel the joy in those moments. They're not performance pieces, they're love letters to normalcy. Meanwhile, the royal machine is busy curating everything. Kate's photos are approved by Kensington Palace. The captions are crafted by PR teams. Even the lighting looks like it's been blessed by a royal decree. But Meghan, she's like, here's a bit of our life, real, imperfect, and happy. That's why people connect to her, because behind all the media noise, she's simply being a mom who refuses to let the world exploit her kids for clicks. And that's the real threat to the institution. Not Meghan's words, not her success, but her independence. She's living proof that you can step away from the royal bubble and still thrive. That you can protect your children and your peace without bowing to the crown or the press. So while ITV is busy comparing households and debating who uses whose kids more, Meghan and Prince Harry are busy raising kind, grounded little humans in peace. They're building a future without the toxicity, without the exploitation. And that's something the royal family could actually learn from. So yes, Chris Ship, the Sussexes and Waleses are aligned on this issue, but one couple lives their values and the other just writes essays about them. And that, my friends, is the difference between talking royal and walking royal.